Hello, farmers, and welcome to the harvest season. My name is Al,
And I'm Micah.
and we're here today to talk about farming games. Woo!
Yay.
My name is Al,
And I'm Micah.
and we're here today to talk about farming games. Woo!
Yay.
And a lot of farming games.
Yes.
There's so much news today. So much news.
There's quite a bit. And I love coming on your show but also listening because I feel like I would rarely otherwise see as much farming sim news as I see through the harvest season.
Yeah, I spend far too much time watching for farming game news now. It's just one of these things where you start looking for it and you see it in all the ridiculous places, and you're like, there are so many games that I never would have seen had I not gone looking for them. But
That sounds like a pretty nice existence though.
Yeah,
To constantly be looking at farming sims.
it's always interesting as well because like every one of them has like the one unique thing about it. Like everyone's doing a farming game, but this.
Yeah.
Which is quite fun to see different people's views on what a farming game could be like.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Micah's here. Welcome, Micah.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
How are things with you? What have you been up to recently? You just plugging along, doing your life?
Yeah. Just kind of trying to keep up with things and trying to keep up with the freelance world. It's what's sometimes overwhelming and sometimes boring. It's a lot of highs and lows in those directions. So
Yes.
Otherwise, trying to keep myself preoccupied inside my house where I'm spending a lot of my time.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us are just now.
But yeah, that's about it.
That's good. Well, speaking of keeping yourself preoccupied in your house, what have you been playing recently then?
I have found I don't want to say new love, but maybe like a restored love of the Dragon Quest franchise.
Oh, okay.
The JRPG.
Yep.
I played a handful of the entries previously when they came out. I played Dragon Quest 9 on the DS quite a bit with my brother. That was probably one of my favorite Dragon Quest games. And the first in the franchise released as Dragon Warrior in North America on the NES.
Right.
And I played that because I was a big fan of adventuring, RPGs on the NES like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior and stuff like that. And then 8, when it came out on the PS2, I was a big fan of that game. And then 11 more recently I got into and was very interested in. And then I kind of just, I don't know what happened, but in the last couple months I was like, I really just want to play through this whole franchise and experience it in its entirety. And so I just finished Dragon Quest 4. I am 4 games into the franchise. And it's a lot of fun. There's so many, it's such a unique world because it's very it's not just like your classic RPG like medieval setting. It's very goofy. It's got a lot of charm. And I like it in that regard. Plus there's a lot of like really cool spin-off titles like the Dragon Quest Builders series is kind of like a hybrid between like a farming sim, which is topical in this scenario, and kind of like Minecraft but with Dragon Quest RPG elements.
Yeah, the Builders games are on my list to eventually properly talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, they're very good.
I played the demo for 2, but I've not actually bought the full game yet.
Yeah, they're very good games. I have not played 1 yet. I played a good chunk of 2 because I was told by a friend who is very versed in Dragon Quest that 2 was kind of the better of the like he told me to wait for 2 and not play 1 because there was a lot that they fixed in 2, I guess. But
that's what I've heard as well.
That's what I've been playing. I mean, that and Animal Crossing I do still daily. I do my like 15-20 minutes of collecting my fossils and checking who's visiting, and that's that.
Have you done any of the new features in the last few updates?
Yeah, the Halloween stuff has been very cool.
Growing lots of pumpkins.
Yes, yeah.
Good.
My storage is becoming very full of pumpkins, and I'm not sure what to do with them at this point because you can grow pumpkins, and then you use the pumpkins to craft the furniture, like Halloween furniture and stuff. But they also sell in the Nook shop.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm blanking on what it's called. The Nook store.
Nook's Cranny.
Nook's Cranny, that's it. They also sell that furniture.
Yes.
So I still buy that every day because I'm like, it's always good to have extra of everything. for some reason, I don't know. I'm hoarding in this game. My storage is 1,600 slots of just like things that I'll probably never use.
I mean, the good thing about the pumpkins is that as long as you keep one of each color pumpkin in storage, you can always grow as many as you want from it.
Yeah.
So, you got to make sure that during this month you're getting all the DIYs. I think I've only got one left other than the ones that you can only get on Halloween itself.
Right.
But once you've got the actual DIYs and you've got one of each pumpkin, you can do it whenever, which is good.
Mm-hmm. I will say I really hope that this like kind of opens up more for farming in Animal Crossing, because it would be really, really nice to be able to do more things that I already have. I don't know if this is too crazy or not, but I have two characters on my island. So I have like my main character and then my main profile, and then I have a second profile that I initially was just using kind of as like storage, like an extra house for storage because I ran out of space. But I turned that house into just the area that house is in. It's just a farm. So it's like, silo, and I got some patterns online for like rows of crops and things like that, and kind of made it like a cute little farm. So I would love to be able to expand that section of my island to be just like all farming.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more farming functionality first, beyond just growing pumpkins.
I suspect, I think we talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but I suspect that they wouldn't have implemented this just for pumpkins.
Sure.
I feel like it's just like a good, easy one because it's like very similar to flowers. And obviously they could get it done in time for Halloween. So I suspect that's why they went with this first.
Right.
And we'll get some more. I would be very surprised if they stopped at pumpkins.
Yeah, I hope they keep going. I mean, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the most successful early access game of all time.
I like that. Good stuff.
So hopefully we do keep getting really, really cool things. But
yeah. Well, it's funny you've been going through all the Dragon Quest games, because I don't know whether you've heard, but I've been playing all the Super Mario games in order.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I'm through all of them other than the new Super Mario Bros. U 3D World, Mario Run, and Odyssey. Although I have played all of those games before, but just in this order. I've done all of the other ones before. So yeah, that's awesome. That's what I've been playing, and also Pokemon, because Pokemon.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know why I forgot, but yeah, Pokemon. I have also been playing Pokemon. I played a lot this week. This was like the first time that I really drew like a hard line and said I'm not going to do any work this weekend, and I'm going to try to keep that up, because I have this problem of like just continuing to like not drawing any kind of barrier and just continuing to work on the weekends. And so I started drawing a hard line and saying I'm telling clients and stuff like I am taking the weekend off. I'm not gonna be. You can message me, but I probably won't respond until Monday.
Yeah.
So I took the whole weekend. I mean, most of the weekend was playing the Crown Tundra.
That's good.
DLC. So, do you like it? Have you been enjoying it?
I have actually. Yeah. I've completed the main storyline in the Crown Tundra.
Okay.
So I've just got. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a lot of the Dynamax adventures, and there's a few things from Isle of Armor that I never finished, and I haven't done the footprints on the Crown Tundra or the Rose. What's it called? The tournament.
Oh, the Champion Star Tournament or something.
something like
Star
that.
Tournament.
Yeah. It's going to annoy me until I look it up. Give me 2 seconds. Galarian Star Tournament.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've still got that to do as well. But yeah, no, enjoying it. It's quite fun having. I like when they integrate in legends into a story, rather than just like, oh, there's a cave there, you can go get a legendary.
Yeah.
So that's good fun.
Yeah, it's very neat. It's definitely like a cool way to keep people interacting with each other rather than just the game. Like I've seen so many more people. I mean, obviously because it's new again, but so many more people like interacting with each other and playing with each other and stuff, doing the Dynamax adventures again, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is partly to do with it being new again, but I think it's also very much to do with what it is, because if it was just more of the same, I don't think it would have had quite this level of engagement. It's like, oh, it's a new area with raids, yay. But like the Dynamax adventure stuff, I think is a whole new aspect to it. Not least because there's the legends in it, and it's a more fun way to shiny hunt legends, with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah,
it's a little bit sad thinking that this is the end of the Sword and Shield saga.
Do you think it is? Do you think that they've announced everything?
I don't know. I guess. I mean, I kind of assumed that we don't have any more info yet, so we don't. They kind of only said we'll be doing 2 DLCs, and this kind of, I guess, makes up what I would anticipate is like the 3rd version or second, like sequel version or whatever, which is historically what they do. That I just kind of assumed at this point that this is like Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, that this is the end of this cycle and that we'll be on to something new in the next few months as far as like news and release build up goes for whatever they'll be releasing next year. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, and we just get like a remake next year or announcement of a new gen or something. I'd be surprised if it was a new gen that soon, but I also honestly wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a 3rd DLC. Like I know it's not Nintendo. I know it is Game Freak, but like, they did it with Smash, where they announced what they were going to be doing for DLC, and then once they'd finished that, they went, oh, and here are some more as well.
Yeah.
It did come out of the blue. So I don't think it's that crazy an idea. And I guess it just depends on how successful it is, right? If the amount of effort they've put into this is less than a 3rd game, or the amount of money they've got out of this is more than a 3rd game, or some combination of the two, then I wouldn't be surprised if they had already been looking at it and hadn't announced it at the time because they didn't know whether they wanted to put in the effort and the time and the effort, but they felt like they wanted to put out at least 2 and then see how things go. I don't know.
Definitely more incentive if the effort is lower and the draw is better.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean the thing that I anticipated the most is probably that we would get some sort of like official 3rd version package, like retail bundle of the games with the DLC and like a definitive version. That would maybe include something else that they would announce along with it, like an incentive for people to buy the bundle if they haven't or if they but who knows. I don't know. It's
We'll see.
We're entering that weird period where there's either going to be like a lot of Nintendo or Pokemon news or none.
Yeah. I suspect.
Next, like,
I suspect we'll get. Yeah, I suspect we'll get nothing till at least January, maybe February or March.
Right.
And then we'll see. Unless if it is a third DLC, they might announce that soon. But yeah, if not, I don't think it'll come till February or March probably. But
I'm still holding out hope for a Let's Go Johto game. I know that everybody's past the Let's Go interest, but
no, I'm with
really
you on
love
that one.
those games.
I'm with you on that one. I really liked them. Not just because of what they brought to the games with the overworld sprites and stuff like that. I just really enjoyed them. I liked I know people hated it, but I really liked the catching in it.
I did too. I really did.
And yeah, I wouldn't say no to a new one.
I liked the like low intensity too. It was a very comfortable game.
Yeah.
And Johto is my favorite region, so I would love to see them rebuild it through that engine. But who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will see. Of course, there's the other option, which is the Sinnoh remake, which we could get. Which, if I had
people
to bet,
have been asking for it.
If I had to bet for these out of these three options, well, let's go out of 4 options. We've got a third DLC, Let's Go Johto, Sinnoh remake, or a next gen. Next year, I would have to bet on the Sinnoh remake, which would be based on the Sword and Shield engine, include the rest of the Pokemon that we don't have in Sword and Shield, and therefore they would add an update to Sword and Shield to include the rest of the Pokemon in Sword and Shield would have everything.
Sure.
That would be my guess.
Yeah,
if
that's
I had
a good
to
guess.
But we will see, as you say.
Yeah, that is a good guess. So, I don't know.
Cool.
Have to keep ourselves preoccupied with Picross and Dragon Quest and Mario in the meantime.
Or this long list of news that I'm going to bring up.
Yes.
So tell me, Micah, have you heard of a game called Stardew Valley?
I've heard about it.
So it came out, quite a few years ago, but they've had a few updates since then. And we have a new piece of information about the upcoming Stardew 1.5 update, which is they're going to add split screen co-op to it.
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. There's not a huge amount to talk about this, but I think it's interesting.
I remember when I saw it, I was like, okay, but like that's neat, but is it online or is it like local co-op, split screen co-op, or
I think it's just local for the split screen co-op. But as far as I can tell, you can play with other people online as well. So it's just you can still host your game
right
for other people to join, but it's just that 2 of you can play locally on one Switch, I think.
Yeah, I guess I just is this specifically for like console? Because split screen co-op I think only makes sense on PC if it's like online co-op and you can see what the other person's doing, but like
that's a good question.
I can't imagine a local scenario where I'm playing on the same PC with another person split screen.
Yeah, I think I did look into a bit more of this. I think it's going to be on consoles as well as PC.
Okay.
But it is coming to PC, I think. Let me just double check. So they said it's coming to console and PC. On PC, you'll be able to have up to 4, but on some consoles, it will only be 2.
Okay.
So I think that it does sound very cool for like on Switch, for example. You got people around, you can play up on your TV, multiple of you at once. That sounds cool to me.
Yeah, definitely. That makes the most sense. I was just thinking in terms of like, the general, I guess, version release, what that looks like for everybody, or if this is specifically like exciting news for console people. But yeah, I see where this is exciting for people. I have always played with people online though, so I can't imagine I'll get like a ton of enjoyment out of this, but it's cool for people who do want to play like couch co-op and stuff like that. I'm scrolling through the replies to this, and I did see someone point out some like new things that are in the screenshots.
Yeah, I saw this as well. I think they've not pointed at everything that seems to be new though. But yeah, so there's a blob with sunglasses on.
That's the most important news.
Of course. There's what looks like a bone maker or something. It's like a machine with a picture of a bone on it.
Yeah.
Some golden
maybe something for
thing.
like a pet.
Yeah, I suspect it's something to do with the pets. Yeah, there's some golden thing, pyramid or something,
like a sun pillar.
Yeah, so it looks very much like the solar essence.
Oh sure, yeah.
So maybe it's something to do with that. And the other thing I've noticed in this that and nobody else has pointed out is there's like a workbench there in the middle of this area surrounded by chests.
Between the chests,
I think that all of your crafting before is done just in your inventory. You don't have like a physical thing to craft on, do you?
Mm-hmm. No.
So I'm wondering whether this is an automation thing.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Like an automatically crafting workbench or something.
Right. Yeah,
who knows?
I'm not sure. There's also someone. Maybe this is something. It's been a long time since I've played Stardew, so there could be things that have been added that I'm just unaware of. But there's this chest too next to it's like a green chest with what looks like leaves coming out of it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I see what you mean. That is interesting.
There's a lot of stuff though. I really want to play Stardew again. I feel like I'm gonna re-enter that cycle soon though, where it's gonna be that time of year when it starts to get like, I mean, it is starting to get cold again, but when it's the right temperature outside, and I'm feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you not already had a snow this year?
We did actually just a couple days ago.
Yeah, that counts as cold.
Yeah, it's not fun. I'm already, when we walk the dog, it's bundle up. So
yeah,
I'm not excited about it, but
but
I haven't quite hit the like Stardew Valley portion of the year, I guess. But my
Stardew Valley time of the year is when they release the update. Every time. So there's no other real information about that. Lots of speculation, but presumably we'll get some sort of firm release date in the next couple of months, I suspect.
Yeah,
but we'll keep you up to date.
Cool.
Micah, have you heard of Turnip Boy commits tax evasion?
Nope.
That was a serious question this time, not like a jokey one like with Stardew Valley.
No, I actually. I geared up for a different portion of news because I clicked a tab, but I have not. Sorry, it caught me very off guard.
I never put a link in that one.
I've never heard of this, and I desperately want to.
Let me just get you a link because
I'm looking at some Google images right now.
So Turnip Boy commits tax evasion is a farming sim-ish, exploration-ish, puzzly game-ish type thing where you are playing as Turnip Boy and you're trying to take down the tax system.
I am in love with Turnip Boy already.
Well, you're going to be even more in love because the brand new information is that it's coming to Switch.
Oh, perfect. That's the news that I wait to hear for any game.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a spreadsheet of all the upcoming farming games and what consoles they're on. And yeah, I'm always disappointed when there's one that's not coming to Switch.
Yeah. I feel like, you gotta, at this point, just work it into your development plans that it's going to come to the Switch eventually.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't, you'll just constantly have people asking for it to come to Switch. It's just become the platform for people to want games on now.
Yeah. It's just such a good platform. This looks very cute. And
doesn't it?
Wild though. I'm very, very into this.
I'm very excited that it's coming to Switch, so I look forward to playing it.
What a troublemaker! There's a screenshot here of Turnip Boy talking to another radish, and it says, "Sup gamer, I'm Mayor Onion's assistant, but you can call me by my gamer tag, Slay Queen 32."
Yeah.
The writing already. Who is doing this? Snoozy Kazoo. I've never heard of them. This is great though. I'm very excited. This is like the most exciting thing that I've seen game wise in the last couple weeks as far as news. I'm all aboard for Turnip Boy.
All aboard the Turnip Boy train. That's still planned to come out in 2021, I believe. So hold your horses.
I'll be waiting.
The next thing I want to talk about is Farmer Supreme. So this is an upcoming farming game which has just launched. When I put it into the show notes, it had just launched its Kickstarter, but I put it into the show notes like 2 weeks ago, the day that we released the last episode. But so they're about halfway, just a little bit over halfway, a little bit under halfway to go of the Kickstarter.
Yeah. Is this a short Kickstarter? It seems a little bit shorter than normal.
No, I think it was a month long.
Okay, I see.
But there's only 10 days left, roughly. When this episode comes out, I think there'll be 10 days to go.
Okay, got it.
It
looks cute.
Interesting thing about this one, it looks really nice. It's kind of interesting, cute looking graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But the other, I like, it's got lots of interesting ideas, like you sell your crops to a whale on the land. And instead of just putting it in a box and stuff like that.
Sure.
There are like levels of crops that you can increase to make your crops better. And there are creatures to fight and stuff, and there's like large complicated puzzles which look quite interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it's got that, I mean, they say Zelda-like, but it definitely has that adventuring quality to it. I'm always a big fan of the inclusion of mini games in games like this.
Oh yes, it has a dance mini game.
Yeah, it looks like there's
dance battle.
Maybe the battle system.
Yeah, dance.
It's
battle.
really cute. I like the crops with personalities.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you like the look of this game, listeners, and you have a little bit of money rolling around to back up a Kickstarter, this could be one of the ones. It's a little bit over 50% funded with 14 days to go. So, there we go. I want this made. I've already backed it, so I just need other people to back it, please. Thanks. Cheers. We're going to talk about some more Kickstarters later on that we've covered before, but I thought it'd be good to have a roundup of Kickstarters. But this one was a new one coming out, so I thought I would bring that up just now. The next piece of news is about Forager. I forget, have you played Forager, Micah?
I have not. I still should. I just haven't.
It's a very fast-paced game.
Here comes the question. Is it on the Switch?
Oh yeah. The Switch port's good as well. It's very good.
Oh, okay, good.
It's the only issue is that it was originally designed for obviously point and click, so there's a few things that don't quite work as well, just because of how the interface works. But once you kind of get the hang of them, it works really well. It's nice and smooth and everything. So yeah, it's a good port.
Okay.
Anyway, regarding Forager, we got some more information on the multiplayer update. So that will be coming out in early 2021. The slight disappointing news is that will only be on PC. They, at this point in time, don't know whether they will be doing multiplayer for consoles or not. Although presumably, because there is other content in this update, presumably even if multiplayer doesn't come to consoles, the other content in the update will. Because they've been good at getting that stuff out to consoles just a wee bit later than the PC version.
Sure. Yeah, and I joked before about just adding the Switch into your development plans, but it's obviously much easier to develop for PC.
Yeah, and
get things rolling on PC than it is to do so for console. There's a lot more steps involved. But I kind of just expect at this point that the majority of features for any game that is like kind of a PC first development team that they're always going to get the features first. PC's always going to get the features first. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't have any issue with that. Especially for like the Forager team is a reasonably small team. It started out as just one person, and I think they've only added a few more people, so it's not a very big team either.
Sure.
It's more when you have these really big companies and they take ages to port to other consoles. Right. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, no, I'd recommend Forager. It's a good fun game. Very fast paced, very stressful. So not your kind of standard calm farming game.
Oh, interesting. I keep seeing it, and I have seen it multiple times, and I've heard you and I've heard Rochelle talk about it, and I've never given it the chance that it clearly deserves. So I'm gonna add it to my eShop. I have a growing eShop wish list that's just like to remind me that games exist. That I should play at some point.
I know the feeling. It's the sort of game that I think if you enjoy it a good amount, you could probably get a good 10 to 20 hours on it and feel complete, feel like you're done with it if you want. But it's also the sort of game that if you're obsessed with it, you could put hours and hours into it. But it's not the sort of game that you have to put that in to feel like it was a good investment. Sure. You could easily put in 10 to 20 hours and feel, that was good. That was worth it.
Okay. That's good news. Because I don't always have I want to put hours and hours into it, but I don't always have the time, and then I back burner things and they just sit there, collect dust.
Definitely. The next on our list, I wasn't joking, listeners, when I said there was a lot of news. There's a lot of news. We're not even halfway there. The next piece is about Village Monsters. Village Monsters. Have you seen this one? I presume you haven't played it because it's not fully released yet. The interesting thing about this one, for those who haven't heard, is that you are the only human in the village. Everyone else is a monster of some kind. But you're trying to live amongst the monsters. So they had a plan to release an update called the Living Lands update. However, they've decided to cut it up into smaller updates that will come out more frequently. So the next update coming out, which should be within days of this episode dropping, because it's going to be in time for Halloween, is the Bright Bonfires update. And the main thing is that includes the Halloween event, which is a perfect thing for a game called Monsters? Village Monsters.
Yeah. Is this? I'm completely ignorant to this game, and I'm looking at these screenshots. To the bonfires, I'm seeing like actual, like a light scope, I guess, like a radial area that's lit up from the bonfire that they're looking at. Is that like a part of the how the game functions, or?
I think that's an aspect of, because it's nighttime, that the light stuff works that way.
Oh, sure. Okay.
At nighttime. So yeah, I think it's literal-ish in that there are bonfires added into the game with this update, but it's not the only update. It's not literally just here are bonfires. Happy Halloween.
Okay. I've never played this or even really heard of it, so I had no idea. It looked very literal to me. Like it's early access and 0.8 to 0.0 we're adding bonfires to the game.
Yeah, so I think of this game very much like Stardew, but everybody's a monster. Like that is how the game is meant to be viewed.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything, not in a bad way, but it doesn't do anything kind of crazy. Like it's not also an RPG. It's not also, a dancing game. It's basically just, it's like Stardew or, a traditional Harvest Moon game, but everybody's a monster.
Okay. Got it.
So there's lots of interesting things around storyline and stuff like that in it regarding that. But yeah.
It's very cool. It looks neat.
It does, yeah. It's on I own the game. I've bought it. It's one of... Oh, did you get the... You probably bought the itch.io Black Lives Matter bundle, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in that.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
There's so many games in that bundle.
I know.
I just have not even come
Yeah,
close to looking at all of them.
So you own it on itch
Okay.
already. So if you want to try it, that's how you can do that. You can also buy it on Steam, but itch is good as well. Itch. I never know whether to just call it itch or whether to call it itch.io.
Yeah, I don't. I always read the .io as like a suffix. Yeah, so I always read it as like itch.io or whatever
Sorry, 2 seconds.
Yep.
Getting distracted by Slack for some reason. Right. Yes. So, my word. So many games are releasing updates just now. I wonder why. The next update is for Staxel. Have you heard of Staxel or played it?
I have not.
It's very Minecrafty, shall we say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming it's, voxel. Staxel is the voxel, I think, is the like term, right? It's like a technical term.
It sounds like you know more than I do.
Oh, it's like like 3D pixel art.
Oh,
kind
okay.
Of.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, looking at some screenshots. Yeah, you're right. That is where it comes from.
Yeah.
So it's that voxel Minecrafty style game, but has more of a focus on farming than does Minecraft.
Okay.
So they're releasing an update called the Hideaway Hollow update. Can you guess what this might be related to?
Maybe potentially a holiday that has to do with maybe witches or ghosts, or am I on the right track?
Yeah, it's a Halloween update.
Okay.
So the big part of this is there's a new island that you can visit, and there's a lot of stuff around that. So we probably don't need to delve into it too much because neither of us have played it. But it's another one that's on my list to eventually play.
Okay.
But I kind of want to wait for it to come to Switch, which they do have plans to do. But I think, was it about 6 months ago, they said that they were going to start rewriting the console ports from scratch.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah. I feel like it'll never come to Switch, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It
seems like a good model for the Switch, because I feel like I think that Minecraft itself did extremely well on the Switch.
Yeah. The other good or interesting, interesting is not the word. The other exciting part of this update is that they're adding in pets and farm animals.
Oh.
So if you want a parrot, you can get a parrot.
I see a
hedgehog
person. It's either a frog or a person in a frog outfit in this trailer sitting by a fire.
I mean, it could be either. You never know.
If I can get a frog, then I'm in.
You can get a hedgehog.
Okay. All right.
Or a fox.
Not that I don't like parrots, but, if I have options, I don't know that a parrot is the top of the list.
Well, fair. You don't feel yourself as a pirate, do you?
No, not particularly. I mean, maybe in some cases, but...
The next one is Verdant Village, which I'm not going to spend too much time on because the update is a lot of words. I'll be totally honest with you. and like no screenshots.
Oh yeah, I didn't even click on the Steam link. This is an essay I'm looking at.
There's some more info about their upcoming updates. If you are interested in Verdant Village and you want to read that, go read it. The link will be in the show notes. There you go. I've given you all the information I'm going to give you in this episode. It's in general an interesting looking farming game, but there's only so much I can pay attention to.
Sure.
Speaking of too many farming games, Micah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of My Time at Sandrock?
Nope.
You played My Time at Portia, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Well, this is the sequel to it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they literally, I think, announced this today as we are recording, which will be yesterday if you're listening to this on release day. They are making a sequel to My Time at Portia.
Wow.
Called My Time at not Sandrock, Sandrock.
Sandrock. And it
Sandrock. I thought
is officially well past its funding goal, it looks like.
yes. Yeah, they did not have any issue hitting that.
I can't imagine.
At 127% of their goal.
It's amazing.
So, it's pretty impressive. So they've got a large number of stretch goals. I guess it looks like it's going to be very similar to Portia, but trying to be bigger and in a new location, Sandrock, presumably, rather than Portia.
I am looking at so I don't know how much Portia did you play?
As much as I really physically could make myself. I don't know if you remember, I did not like that game.
Yeah, I do remember. I remember talking about, or I can't remember if we talked about it or if I just listened to you and Rochelle talk about it. But the Switch port specifically.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, and I that was really my only experience with the game, which I feel like maybe was a little bit of disservice because so many people who I knew that played it on PC absolutely loved it, and I really enjoyed my time at Portia. Some kind of pun, but it did have like you both said there were a lot of struggles in that port that made it less enjoyable. But I guess the PC version was really the like optimal way to play the game.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. It just, I don't know. There was something about it. It was just how it was handled, how the port was handled. I think that just kept me from enjoying it as much as any number of other farming sims or life sims that I've been able to enjoy it. So I was curious about this to see if maybe they had considered that in part of their like approach to a sequel. But I'm looking at the FAQs here on the Kickstarter, and there's one that says which platforms will it be on, and it looks like they're again focusing primarily on Steam Early Access in March of next year, and then the full game in spring of 2022.
Yeah.
And then they're saying other PC platforms after the full game release on Steam, and then console ports summer of 2022. So this is like a long ways off, but it does kind of sound like console ports are again taking a backseat to the PC development, which can't say it doesn't make sense, but I was maybe a little bit more hopeful that they would take a little bit more consideration for the PC ports, given what my time at Portia really lacked on console.
There's quite a few people talking about things in the comments about is the Switch port going to be better this time, and they're kind of I've found one comment where they're talking about that, and they've said we're trying our best to do much better with the consoles this time around. Some of the funding is dedicated to just being able to secure a high quality port to console.
Okay.
So they are aware of that, and hopefully that means that it will be better. Part of the issue, I guess, with these things is that with teams that aren't huge, what they end up doing is they build it for PC and then they pay someone else to port it to consoles.
Yeah.
And I guess if you don't choose a good porter, then you end up with a bad port.
Sure. That makes sense.
It does make sense. So hopefully what they're saying is they're going to go with someone else, someone better, someone with hopefully a better history of porting games to the Switch.
I do see there is a comment here on the Twitter post that I think I agree with pretty fully. It says, I definitely would love to support this, but I don't know for sure that I feel comfortable doing so. There are still issues with the Switch version, and some of us have been waiting a long time for them to be resolved. I don't mean any disrespect, and I wish you great success. Which is kind of how I feel about it. I really, really wanted to like it because of how many good things I heard about it. But being that my primary play source was the Switch, I'm hesitant to back it, but hopefully, they, like you said, they're putting that funding towards a better porting company. So
yeah. Well, the good thing is that they've hit their funding goals, so you don't have to worry about if I don't help fund this, it won't get funded.
Right.
And coming out in 2022 means that when it comes out, you're not losing anything waiting, right? People should
Right.
never feel pressured to kickstart something they don't feel passionately about. So I'm certainly not backing it. I will see how the port is once it comes out and decide at that point whether to buy it or not. It's 2 years away.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time to see how things go.
I have backed a lot of Kickstarters recently for farming games, but every single one of them I've been very passionate about it. And I think this is great. I really want to support these developers. If I don't, it might not get enough to fund, and therefore I want this to happen, so I'm going to. And if it ends up not quite living up to my expectations, that's okay. Because a lot of them are like individuals or a few people. But, the Porsche team is not a small team.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't feel the need to support them just now. And yeah, I'll see how the game is when it comes out.
Same. I agree.
But exciting that they're doing that. They say that it was originally meant to be DLC for Porsche, but they decided there was enough that they wanted to do in it that they wanted to create it as a new game. And they're going to apparently focus more on multiplayer in this game as well.
Okay.
So.
All right. Good goals. Hopefully everything pans out. Like this person said, I wish them a lot of success with it, and I hope it goes well. So
yeah,
I hope it goes well enough that they are, I can play a successful port on the Switch in 2022.
Yeah, there's plenty of games to play before then.
Yeah.
The other new Kickstarter that I wanted to talk about in the news is called Arclands. Arclands? Who knows? Names are fun. So this is a new Kickstarter. It's a game about creating a buzzing village and becoming a powerful enough wizard to defend it. And there's a quote that they say, build a settlement, keep your citizens happy, and explore the treacherous wilds in this RPG-light city builder. So it feels kind of like a cross between a kind of standard farming game crossed with like a SimCity type game, although not like the large city scale, more like a village scale. So you seem to have a more control over it, but you still have an individual who you are playing as in the game.
Okay. Yeah, this looks really neat. I really love the art style for this game.
Yeah. Yes. It's really interestingly simplistic, but not in a bad way. Like it's a really interestingly simplistic view of things. Like all your people are kind of like blobby type people.
Yeah.
But they still seem to have like a lot of personality, which I really like.
The thick outlines on everything is very it's like really simple shading but thick outlines that give it kind of like a poppy quality. I like it a lot.
See, Micah, this is why I love having you on the podcast. I look at it and go, I like the art style. And you managed to explain what it is about the art style that I like.
It's very cute. I like it. I'm very interested in this. It does look like there's a I don't know about a good amount of combat, but like there is a pretty specific combat element to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like war, kind of like village warfare. I don't know.
Yes, yeah, because you do have to properly defend your village, and you build up walls and defenses and stuff like that. And obviously there's some level of magic in it because it talked about becoming a wizard. So yeah, it's combining a lot of interesting things, I think.
Yeah, it looks neat.
The one thing, obviously, is this one, because it's an individual that's building this, they are currently planning only to release on PC and Mac, but they want, obviously, everybody wants to, they want to release on consoles as well, but they can't commit to that.
Sure.
So if that's a requirement for you, don't back the Kickstarter. But I'm really tempted by this one. Really tempted. It looks really nice.
Looks neat, yeah. And I think it's at 38% funded so far.
Yeah. So it's a good one to put your money in if you want to back something.
Yeah, very cool.
But it's tracking along pretty nicely, I think, with the timeline, because 20 days to go, a third of the way there. That's on track.
Yeah.
But as with always, the problem is that the first 2 days is a really busy time, and then the last week is really busy, and everything else ends up being really, really quiet.
Yeah.
It's really interesting watching all these Kickstarters, and that's how they do. The momentum is right at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah, I'm seeing these stretch goals, and it sounds like there's some cool stretch goal things that I would maybe like to see them hit, but at this rate, I feel like they're probably going to hit funding, and maybe not necessarily hit stretch goals, but who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. They have always a good thing when they are already saying they're going to have character creation. So
okay,
so that's good. I'm always a little bit wary when someone puts character customization behind a stretch goal, because I feel like that should be something they should be putting up front. But
I would agree with that.
They have not done that here, so that's good. Don't put diversity behind money.
Yes, I agree.
One of the pet peeves of this podcast. Now,
feels like it should just be pretty simple at this point to not. I know. But people still struggle with it somehow.
I know. I think I'd rather either don't have any or put it in. It's the putting it behind a barrier that annoys me.
Paywall. Yeah,
essentially, but not even just a paywall. I can't pay to get that. It's all of us have to pay enough to get to it.
Right.
It's this weird. If I don't get enough people buying my game, I won't put this feature in, and this feature is something that will make people feel like the character is theirs. Just feels so weird. The last bit of news is not actually news, because I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I wanted to bring it up again because, Micah, you are the perfect person to talk to about this game.
I'm really excited.
And this is Petadachi. Yeah, you've looked at it. What are your thoughts?
It looks neat. I mean, I was literally just thinking maybe a couple days ago or a week ago, I was thinking about pet simulators or virtual pets and things like that, and I was thinking about why there's not really anything that has you. So the majority of virtual pets or pet simulation is you're just looking at it's a first person view of this pet and you're interacting with it in that way. And I was just thinking well, why is there no kind of overworld or exploration with this pet? Is the most that I've seen is Nintendogs, I guess, when you go on walks and stuff like that. Or in Tamagotchi, there are, the more recent Tamagotchi, there's, parts of the town that you can go shopping or go to a restaurant or go to the park or something. But even that's still, kind of just a first person view of interacting with this pet. But there hasn't been anything that's you create a character, you actually play with the, you have gameplay of you playing with the pet or something like that. And this looks like that fills that void perfectly.
Yeah, there you go. I think this is the interesting thing, is that, like most people who grew up in the 90s, I enjoyed playing with Tamagotchis, but I never really felt like they moved with the times very much. And it's sure, they increased their graphics and they added new ways to do things and stuff, but they never really felt any different. It just felt like the same thing, but newer.
Right.
So this feels like a really nice, natural progression into a modern version of that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks very cool. It's that, again, that's voxel art, which is always, I've always liked the I've always liked the idea of voxel art. Maybe some parts of the art style, I guess, I'm not super keen on, but
there's a penguin.
There is a penguin. with very sad furrowed eyebrows. But it looks like there's weather, like a weather system.
It's amazing. And of course, the best bit is it's coming to Switch. So
I can't wait. And there's a fishing mini game. I mean, anything that's got a fishing mini game, I'm in. But it looks neat. But it looks like it's got the, kind of classic virtual pet things, like the heart and the food meter and the cleanliness meter.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sun is. Maybe being outdoors. I don't know. That's never really been a factor for.
It might just be because it's daytime.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It's like a meter because it fills.
Oh no, it does, yeah. Maybe it's tiredness or something like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's usually the 4. It's how much it loves you, how hungry it is, how clean it is, and whether or not it wants to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, it looks really cool though. I'm very, very interested in this.
Yeah.
I'm curious what there is as far as like pets, because right now I haven't watched the trailer, but from looking at the screenshots, it's a lot of like there's a cat and a dog and a penguin.
Yeah, there seem to be a few different cats and dogs. I also saw, let me just scan through, I saw some other things as well. I mean, the penguin is cute, you have to admit.
Yeah, yes.
There's a grumpy cat, not just cats, but there's a grumpy cat.
Okay.
There's what looks like a duck of some kind with like a ridiculously long, is that a duck?
I'm skimming through this trailer.
Oh no, it was a cat. It was a cat holding a burger. Never mind.
Oh, I'm skimming through this trailer though, and I'm seeing the penguin move, and I'm way more interested in the penguin now. I mean, I was already on board with the penguin, but seeing those little feet flap,
yeah,
I might just have to go with a penguin right out of the gate.
Yeah,
this is very cool though. I like this concept.
Well, it's coming next year to Switch, so
I can't wait.
Thank you for discussing that with me, even though it's not brand new news. I really wanted to talk to you about it because I know how much you love your Tamagotchis.
I do love the virtual pets.
So that's all the news. What I wanted to do before we finish the episode is there have been a lot of farming game Kickstarters. So I kind of wanted to kind of go over what there is just now. And what people should be paying attention to. And, obviously a lot of people are struggling for money just now. So if you are, then don't feel like this is me saying you should be going and backing a Kickstarter. Definitely, if you are struggling with money, do not back a Kickstarter. It's a stupid thing to do. If you, however, are doing okay with money and you want to help indie developers make their dreams a reality, then absolutely go do that. That is what you should be doing. Do not think you are buying a game. You might never get this game, the typical Kickstarter stuff. But I thought it would be good to kind of summarize what's going around just now because there's a lot. So there's the 3 that we talked about in the news, one of which I'll come back to the end because I want to focus on that. But there was the My Time at Sandrock, which is the Porsche one. There's the Arclands one, which is all so we'll talk about Arclands and Farmer Supreme at the end because they are ones I kind of want to focus on. But so there's My Time at Sandrock, which if you really like Porsche and you want to help them get to that point, that would be a good one to support. There's the Dayland one, which we've talked about in previous episodes, which we have obviously talked about Summer in Mara before. It's by those developers.
This was, I believe, one of their either their first game or one of the first games they ever made.
Yes, yeah. This was before Mara, yeah.
Right.
I think technically it was their 3rd game because I believe there have been 4 games that they've made, but the first one they don't talk about or something like that.
Okay.
I lose track, but yeah, there have been. It was certainly before Mara. Yeah, so this is the Switch port that's on the Kickstarter.
Got it. Okay, that was my next question. What is new about this version? But yeah,
so it's not just
that's Pocket Planet edition, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
specifically.
So the Switch is the main point, but they are adding some new stuff to it as well. So first of all, you can have a space dog.
Okay, I'm in.
So yeah, I mean I know how to sell you a game, don't I? There's also, they're adding in seasons to it. So I think the original Dayland didn't have seasons. So they're adding in seasons. They've also got a bunch of stuff around kind of, if they get to the stretch goal, stuff around constellations and the stars in the sky. Sounds like a mini game type thing where you can basically change how the sky looks in your game.
Okay. Huh.
And I believe there's a bunch of extra cameos from people in the Mara universe.
Okay. Yeah, I see the like statue, or it's like stone statues or whatever. They look like
yeah.
I can't remember the character's name in Summer in Mara.
Nobu?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the I did notice that. I didn't know if they were going to do more as far as like cameos or something like that, but
yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I know there is
it does
definitely
say
some
it's in the
cameos.
same universe. It says it's set 6 years after Summer in Mara.
Is it? Interesting.
Yeah, it's
so it's a sequel released before the. So I guess that makes Mara a prequel to Dayland.
Right. This is very cool, though. Their art is just always incredible.
Yeah.
They have some very talented artists on their team.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, people visit your planet in spaceships and stuff, which is fun. I don't know whether walking around my planet and having it move while I walk is going to make me feel seasick or not. But I have backed this anyway because I need to play it. I feel like I'm at the point with the Summer in Mara devs where basically from now till eternity, whatever game they make, I will buy. Because Mara was just so good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This year is going to be really hard. We're planning on hopefully doing a similar thing to last year where we figure out which were our favorite games that released this year, and it's going to be really hard this year, I think.
There's been so much.
I know.
And it's felt like 2020 has felt like it's been 3 years in length, but there's the fact that Animal Crossing has came out in March still blows my mind, but
I know
there's so many more between then and now that's come out that I'm like,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yep. So those are the two kind of big ones made by devs that you might have played games. So there's My Time at Sandrock and Dayland. Those ones I would only suggest you go back if you really like what they do and you're definitely going to get it no matter what. They're the sort of ones to do for that.
Especially because they have blown past their funding goals.
Yes,
both of
exactly.
So.
Exactly. Don't do it to make the game happen. Those are already happening.
Yeah.
The next two are smaller games, but they've also hit their funding goals. And that's Sunhaven and The Wandering Village. Let me just double check I'm actually right, but I'm pretty sure those have both hit their goal.
Yes, by a lot too.
So Sunhaven is a really interesting looking game that I've also supported because it's very RPG-esque. There's a lot of stuff around exploring and bosses and stuff like that, and just looks really nice. I couldn't not back this game.
It looks very cool. There's a lot more fantasy to it.
Yes, yeah.
Than I feel
Dragons
like we typically get with
like that. Yeah.
Farming sims.
Yeah, they tend to focus mostly on the idea of harvest sprites and stuff like that, or they go sci-fi. You're right. There's not been very many fantasy ones.
Yeah, this looks very cool.
And the other one is The Wandering Village, which, I mean, you're on the back of a moving creature. It's a really interesting symbiotic relationship that I think you have to keep the creature healthy to keep your village healthy, and vice versa.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
they got kind of a Xenoblade thing happening here.
I just love. I'm sure they've got a lot of kind of ecological and environmental imagery within this game. If they don't, they've really missed a trick. But it feels like that and looks really good.
That's a really neat idea.
Yeah.
I'm curious how much of that is going to play into like, what's going on outside, like the world around the creature that you're on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of these things where there are so many ideas you can incorporate into this. And I don't want to kind of overhype it, because then if they don't have that sort of feature, it will feel disappointing. I really want it to be great. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. This is very cool, though. It's a very neat idea.
Yeah.
Both of these, Sunhaven and Wandering Village, have... It boggles my mind how much creativity there still is in something like farming sim, which you would think like because it's such a niche thing that like there isn't as much room for creativity, but there's so much creativity in this genre that like it just keeps surprising me.
Yeah, there are too many farming games, but there also aren't enough farming games,
right?
Because people keep bringing up new ideas for them.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I'm gonna have to back both of these, I think.
How much money am I making you spend today? So that's those two. Those are kind of your most. They're indie developers, I think, but they've both hit their targets. So if you're limited in what you're backing, and you're not like really enthusiastic about either of these two, maybe look for something else. But they're good ones to back if you like to support indies and you want to get these interesting looking games, because they both look really good.
They do.
And the final two that are currently going on are both ones that we discussed in the news, but I wanted to highlight them again because they're both really interesting in their own ways, and they're both indie developers who haven't hit their targets yet. And so these are ones I really want people to focus on. If you want, again, this is only if you're wanting to back games because you have the money and you want to help developers create really interesting things. If you're in that position, these two are really good ones to look at, because I mean, I don't know what else to say. I like the look of both these games, and I really want them both to happen. And it's hard in these times to make something like this and have it be successful. And Kickstarter allows these devs to do this and create something that they really want to do. And I think we need more of that.
Definitely. I also really like the how both of these. I'm always drawn. I mean, it's just my nature. I'm always drawn to like art style first, and then if I can, even if it's not an art style I particularly am interested in, then if the gameplay looks really interesting, then But my initial impression is typically always like, is the art style good? Does it look interesting to me? Is it like aesthetically appealing? And both of these are in very different ways, but I like the ideas that they both bring to the table, and I like how they look, and that's, I think, probably the best things I could say about them for my own taste.
Yeah, definitely. I think,
but Arclands specifically, I think, is a very interesting looking game.
Yeah, I think Farmer Supreme looks like it could be a really good standard farming sim with some interesting additions to it, which is good, because I'm always looking for new standard farming sims that do things well, and that's really good, and I look forward to playing that because I've backed that one. But Arclands as well, it brings a lot more interesting things as well, in that I like the combination of you are playing a character, but you're also then controlling the village. And I presume that's kind of because your character is a wizard. I presume that is tied into, like, that's the lore, is because you're a wizard, you're almost controlling the village because you are the wizard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I really like, that dual aspect of the gameplay.
I'm also reading here that Farmer Supreme has a character who is a witch named Spaghetti.
Okay.
and they have a very cute pet, and it's named Macaroni.
Of course.
So I'm very quickly falling in love with this game.
Yeah, I think I've been following the developer for Farmer Supreme on Twitter. I really like their sense of humor and the way they think about things. So that's kind of one of the things that makes me think I really like this game, because when you laugh at how someone writes up about their game, you know that the game is going to be enjoyable for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks good. I'm running out of money very quickly here.
I know the feeling. I'm trying not to back everything because it's a lot, but it's really hard not to.
Yeah. I definitely hope that these hit their funding goals, though, because I would love to see these.
Yeah, I think they're both really good people making really interesting games, and so yeah, I hope they both do. I think they're both just about on track to hit, but they'll either just make it or just miss it.
Right.
So follow me on Twitter, and if you see me tweet in like 2 weeks frantically that both of them are like really close to hitting their goals, then you'll know what's happening. But yeah, there we go. There's a lot of Kickstarters and a lot of news, and that's a lot of farming games.
It is a lot of farming games.
I don't really know how to sum all this up. That's a lot. Thank you, Micah, for joining me for this marathon news session.
Of course. It's always fun to be on with you two anyways. Just because I enjoy the content and I enjoy the things that you discuss and the focus, but it's also enjoyable because there's a lot of news that I just don't see, that when I'm on the show and I hear it for the first time in person, then I learn how much more there is that I have not even been able to keep my eyes on.
Yeah. When I pitched this idea to Rochelle about this podcast, and I was talking to my wife about it, she was wondering whether or not there would ever be enough to talk about for a podcast about farming games.
Right.
I think we've proven there is.
Definitely. There's seems to be no shortage at all.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us. Where can people find you on the internet? Plug yourself.
You can find me on Twitter at Micah the Brave, Micah. I spell it sometimes because people sometimes have a hard time spelling it. And you can also find me. I've been using the last 24 hours. I decided I need to be using Instagram more. So I'm also on Instagram at Micah the Brave. Yeah. If you want to see some videos of my cat, I post those sometimes on TikTok. That's about it.
You never really, without me nudging you, you never really plug your graphic design stuff though.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a website at micahthebrave.com. But I don't, I'm not big on like pushing it, I guess. I have it as like a pinned tweet so that, I think if people are looking for it, then they'll find it. But
Micah does great design. If you're looking for design stuff,
go
to him.
Thanks.
Micah did the amazing logo for this podcast.
It's very fun.
And does a lot of other stuff that I see all over the place. And yeah.
I've been very lucky to work with a lot of really cool people. So that's where you can find me. That's where I'm at.
Good stuff. If you want to follow me and see my ramblings personally, you can follow me on Twitter at the ScottBot. Scott only has one T in that one. If you want to follow the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at THSPod, where I will go through bursts of retweeting things. You can always tell when I'm catching up on Twitter because I'll retweet like 15 things in a row. And then not for 3 days. If you want to email us, you can do that on our website, harvestseason.club. If you want to give us any money, feel free. You can do that at Patreon, which there is a link to in the show notes and on the website as well. We're just coming up to a new month. Always a good time to do that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Micah, for joining us. And until next time, have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley, with support from our pro farmer level patrons, Kevin and Stuart. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode. Thanks for listening.
I hate the sound of my own voice, which is a real problem when I edit my podcast.
I think everybody does, though.
I know.
I don't think you're alone in that.
The problem is I guess like most people, I like how my voice sounds to me.
Yeah.
But then when I hear it recorded,